if you saw one of my prints, you'd realize that there's a minimalistic amount of line, and it had its own complexity. And yet, it was supposed to be very minimalistic, very controlled. There was no excess line anywhere to represent any of my thoughts or ideas, because I was working on a theme called water. What was the theme called water? It doesn't make a lot of sense if an artist says I was working on a theme of water. Well, in calligraphy, water is represented by a wavy line. If you look at the hieroglyphs, and I used that wavy line to create large compositions in oil and in acrylic medium, large canvases. And I also introduced things which I associated with water, which was a lotus. And again, controlling my areas of color in the canvas, and continually weaving in the line for water and building up a complete composition, a harmonious composition. That's what I was trying for, and I succeeded. Before this, which attracted a lot of people, was my Birds of the Kaveri series. My Birds of the Kaveri series, again, is my fascination for natural life, and it seems to be some sort of affinity that I had with avian life. So I started working on that for many years. I was working on it, 60s, 70s, and so on, parallel manner. And it was very successful, very, very stark, but very strong in representing avian life as I would like to represent it in my compositions, the way I would like to communicate. That was the Birds of the Kaveri series. I think I continued with it because I was able to give a sort of calligraphic content which was never repetitive. Whether I worked on the Birds of Kaveri with this medium or that medium, it was always something new which I was drawing or painting or illustrating. There was a freshness. There was a new thought coming out. So I continued with the Birds of the Kaveri, and it became more and more simpler, more and more minimalistic, almost cryptic. So I continued with that. Talking about my landscapes, in 1995-96, I was trying to search for something different, and I was also not able to really focus and continue with certain ideas of mine. So I went back to things which I saw around me. I had come away from representational art. I went back to representational art because I needed to sort of re-practice my ideas and understand my own talent, what was possible in me and what was not possible, whether I was able to make multiple use of various colors, and I succeeded. And I worked on a series called the Injambakkam landscapes. The Injambakkam landscape was very critical because I relearned to do representational art, and yet it is not, it is very modern, and it is not traditional art. But I learned all over again certain things which I had studied earlier, and I reskilled myself. And then I went back to my Birds of the Kaveri series. The Birds of the Kaveri just can also be a misnomer which I gave because I happened to be living close to the river Kaveri once upon a time, in the sense I was some kilometers away and I'd see a lot of avian life. But it was something which was more difficult to achieve than doing representational art.